What is up, my people? Welcome to Mix House. I'm Leo, aka Fleece.
And I'm Lilo, aka Dion.
What's up, guys? We're going to talk about one of my and Lilo's favorite plugins from last year, 2023. We use it on a lot of mixes. It's kind of one of our secret weapons, the Panda Rooms by Purified Audio. So let's check it out.
Let's jump right into that.
So, prefacing this is one of my band songs. Go check us out on Instagram, MSJ Sucks. That's not the name of the band, that's just our Instagram and the handle. But yeah, I have some drums here that we recorded in our live room. They sound awesome. I have a really basic leveling here, nothing crazy. Just some slight gating on the kick and snare, very slight EQ, and if you do see an EQ, it's just probably a phase flip. And then I have a very simple drum chain basically here. But today, we're going to talk about this plugin right here, the Panda Rooms.
The secret weapon, the secret sauce.
So yeah, if you're ever like wanting something, if you want like a feel of reverb, but don't necessarily want a reverb like a plate or a hall, try this plugin. Basically what it is Sam Pura, one of the greatest engineers of our times, works with a lot of dope bands. He basically shot impulse responses of every room in the studio. So you can see here, this is his live room, his West live room, his control room, the hallway of his studio, the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, an isolation booth, the East live room, East control room, and a warehouse that he has. So basically, this is an impulse response loader. And what an impulse response is, it's basically a snapshot of the reverb or the ambience of a particular room.
I was just about to ask.
That was like the idiot's version, or idiot's way of explaining things, I guess, I would hope. So yeah, it's pretty dope. Basically, if you slap this on whatever source, you will basically get the sound of whatever room in the studio. And the cool thing is that he took snapshots with 5 different microphone types. So you can see here, he did one with a U87, with a Louis, which is one of those like binaural, it looks like a head, but it's actually it's actually a
binaural microphone. It's weird. I remember the first time I came across one of those, I was like, this is a microphone?
Yeah,
this
right?
is literally a head.
It looks like one of those like gym guys that you beat up. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Basically what that does is it records under the impression of human ears.
As best to its ability, yeah. Because nothing sounds like human ears, but...
You know.
Yeah, so we got the Louis binaural microphone, a stereo pair of large diaphragm condensers. So you have a lot of options here. Also, within each, you have a pre-delay control for each set of microphones. You have a high pass filter and a low pass filter and a tone knob, so you can make it a little bit brighter, a little bit darker. It's pretty cool. And then over here in this area, you can see there's a whole bunch of link buttons. So if I hit link on pre-delay, it's unlinked. So if I move this particular pre-delay knob, it's only moving that by itself. But if I hit it, oh shit, it's moving everything together. Yeah, global controls. And that works for every control here, which is dope. And one of probably my favorite thing in any plugin, a dry wet knob. And this thing's a lifesaver. Even at like 2% or 1%, this thing will change your sound drastically. So right, let's get into it. So I'll just play these drums soloed. As you can see, I have a kick mic, inside kick mic, snare top, snare bottom, rack and floor tom, stereo overheads, mono room, and stereo rooms. And I'll just play an example of what these sound like in this particular context. Word. Shout out to my drummer, Kevin. He's the best drummer in the world.
Shout out, Kev.
Cool. So, you know, it's pretty lively. We got close mics. We got some room mics. And you'd say, oh, you have room mics. Why would you want to use impulse response loaders? Well, it'll just change the characteristic of what you want. So if you want, I already played you the example of what the drum sounded like in our context right here. But let me slap this bad boy on and I'll play it back. So yeah, it sounds like it's in his studio, which is amazing. And I'll turn it off one more time just hear our mix without it. So really powerful thing here, really powerful. You can really, whatever source you put it on, you can change the ambience of whatever you have it on. So what I'll do right now, I'll leave this on 100% wet so you can really hear the differences between these, all of his rooms really. the bathroom is sick.
I like the garage too.
Yeah, dude, it's so powerful. So whatever your need is, you have a different, ambience for whatever room. And it's cool because sometimes I don't want a hall sound or a plate. You know what I mean? I just want the ambience of a room.
Yeah, let's talk about like the blend control between the mics.
Cool.
Got your faders on there, pan knobs, right?
These? Oh, no, stereo width widening.
Nice.
All right. So as you can see, each microphone set has a fader in it, which is awesome because what you can do is blend it within the mix. So if you want to use a little bit of this large diaphragm condenser, you can do that. If you want to back off some of this ribbon mic, you can do that. What else do we have? We also have stereo width controls. So for all the stereo pair of microphones, you can make them more mono or you can widen the stereo field, which is amazing. And then you also have this balance control, which is basically a pan knob left and right. So you could probably do some really wacky stuff with these controls. Also, you can mute or solo each mic within the context. So really cool stuff here. All right, you might hear a volume jump here, but I'm gonna show you exactly what you can do with these faders. So I'm just gonna play the drum. Well, I'm not gonna play the drums. I'm gonna play the example of drums and I'll just move these faders around. You can hear the difference between each microphone set. So as you can hear, it's really cool. It goes from like really realistic sounding, almost like you're standing in the room, to like super vibed out, warm sounding microphones or
Yeah. I mean, it's cool because you could just get the tone that you're looking for almost with any room just by blending the microphones. You know what I'm saying? So it's super versatile, this plugin. The amount of room tones that you can get out of it and manipulate is pretty tight.
Yeah, man, it's really impressive here. And one cool feature about it is you might see that I have delay compensation on. Always record and have delay compensation. Always have delay compensation on, guys. Don't be an amateur. It's a really low latency plugin, so I track with it all the time. It doesn't cause any latency issues, which is amazing.
What kind of presets we got on there?
We actually have a lot of dope engineers, actually, which is really cool. So you can tell that Sam Pura, the owner of Panda Studios and the creator of this plugin, got all of his friends to basically make presets for him. And I see like Jason Sukoff here. He's one of my favorite metal producers. He has a couple cool presets. So, but you know what? Let's go through Sam's stuff. He has some really cool shit. So let's go through Sam's presets. I'm just gonna hit this right arrow and you'll hear the shifts in the tone.
See, I like that one a lot.
The bathroom is there's so much low end.
Give them an example with you blending the mix knob.
Gotcha, yeah.
Because
So
people are right now, they're hearing it, fully
100%
wet, thinking
yeah.
that like, oh, but that's a little too much, and it's like, no, genius, we're not gonna keep it that way.
yeah, so what's cool is for that example, the bathroom is a lot of punchiness, a lot of extra low end, which is amazing, but in the context of a mix, when you have bass guitar and vocals, it could get really muddy. So what I'll do is I'll just back this off and I'll just sneak it into the mix until I feel like it's right. Like really listen to the kick drum. You can hear it really fatten up. And I don't know if you noticed, but there's also a slight stereo widening,
Yeah,
which is really cool.
it gives the drums an overall girth. It
Lack of better
fattens it, widens it, gives it more punch. It's cool harmonic stuff happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, cool harmonic stuff is happening with this plugin.
And I also feel like there's some phase stuff going on, which is cool, which also
Yeah,
lends into the
exactly.
wideness.
It's like you said, it's just giving it a character that it didn't have before.
Right. And what's cool is when you saw me scrolling through the presets, you might have saw some of these faders go up and down. So these are Sam's particular mixes of these microphones. And then you might even see the high passes change and the filters change. It's really cool stuff. But you necessarily don't even have to have it just on as an insert on your chain, Sometimes I might even throw it on my snare track just to give some tail to my snare. So we'll do that actually. Let's do that. I'm gonna reset this. Factory reset, right? And we're just gonna listen to this on the snare drum and we'll see what it does to it. I'll have it bypass first and then we'll turn it back on. might have heard that once I slapped it back on with about only 20% of the dry wet mix, it adds a nice tail to the snare. Maybe sometimes you don't want it on your kick or your toms, you want it just on the snare. So that's a really cool trick. If you feel like you have a drier snare.
I mean, technically you could throw this on anything. There's no rules to it.
Yeah.
It is a plugin made specifically for drums, but you can get away with throwing this on vocals.
I wouldn't even say that it was made specifically for drums. I think it was, like you were saying earlier, it might just be a general purpose, you know, just play around with it and make some cool stuff with it.
Exactly. So, you know, don't limit yourself.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, you're good.
Actually, now that you mentioned that, you want to hear it on some guitars?
Yes.
Should I solo the guitars? I'll give it a quick band mix without vocals. Here's just an entire context of the band mix. I'll play the chorus real quick. And we're gonna slap this plugin on the guitars. I'm just gonna throw it on the guitar bus. I just have stereo left and you can really hear what it does. And I'll factory reset it again. So again, here's just the band mix. I had it on. Here's just the band mix. Cool, now I'll slap this on the rhythm guitars. Crazy, right? It sounds like they're in in his live room. So I'll blend those controls back a little bit and then we'll hear the difference as well. It's cool. Again, you're putting it in a space, and again, it's widening whatever source you're throwing it on, which is such a cool thing. Honestly, it's funny because I feel like when we use it, it's such a subtle thing. I feel like when you do 100 subtle things, it adds up to something huge rather than doing one huge move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you get to finalizing the mix and you know, you're limiting and everything is standing out. All those little subtle intricacies.
It's all like a sum of all the parts, you know? It's like a car engine. It needs all those little tiny parts in order for it all to work together, you know?
But it does play a big part in helping the drums cut through the mix, you know, like it really...
And more than anything, it's adding vibe, which is what we want in music.
Exactly.
You don't want it to be sterile sounding or feeling. Yeah, maybe someday I'll play around with it on my stereo bus. Let's see what happens. So again, we want to give a shout out to Sam Pura. Awesome engineer. Check out his stuff. He's worked with some of my favorite bands like Basement, The Story So Far, Spirit World. Here's his website if you want to check any of his plugins out, purified.com. And yeah, man, great prices. It's, you know, plugins made by an engineer for engineers, which is amazing. Really cool tools. So we're definitely going to start checking out more of his stuff.
Yep. And we advise that you do as well. It's pretty good. We've been slapping Panda Rooms on a lot of our mixes. Mm-hmm. And even then, we're looking to, you know, dive deeper into more of his stuff. So
yeah, and if you don't even want to pay for it yet, even though the prices are amazing, you could, you know, click up here and download for free and try it out for a couple days.
Always recommend doing a trial because once you try it out, you see how it sounds for yourself. Then from there, you already know whether you want to purchase it or not. But most times, you're probably going to want to make the purchase because there really isn't many plugins that has the in-depth tools that this plugin has.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you know, different microphones, pre-delay, stereo widening, you know, fader control, blending. Dude, those so different tones. Like,
for this price, there's so much in this plugin, you
exactly.
know? Like, this thing needs it. I could see it being 3 times the price easily.
By the way, we're not sponsored
at all.
So this is just a testimonial.
Oh, because we're not sponsored, I just have one gripe with this plugin, and I'll show you right now. This is the only thing I don't like about this plugin. So Sam, if you could fix this with an update, I would love it. Where are we? Purified audio, right? I just feel like it's not the most optimized plugin when I try to load it up. So if I click it here, well, now it works.
That loaded up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
but I know what you mean. Sometimes it does take the system,
I think,
just like a couple seconds just to load up.
Yeah, I think it just loaded up quickly because it was already on the computer's RAM.
Exactly.
I already loaded it up. But sometimes it takes like a little bit to load up. But that's my only gripe.
And even then, that's like, you know.
That's the only gripe.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and checking out our, our review or rundown of this amazing plugin.
Absolutely. I hope it helped. It's a fun tool to use, and we recommend that you guys give it a try. Download the trial, play with it, see how you like it. But, if you're looking for that big drum sound and you're looking for a plugin to really give you a lot of different tones, then this is the plugin for you.
For sure. Again, I'm Leo, aka Fleece, and my partner
Lilo. We're done here.
We're done
See
here.
you next time.
Bye. Go home. Cool.